Alright guys, let's do a bow and then let's get running round.
Yes, good hustle, keep it going.
Are we listening? Are we listening?
We're on.
Alright, hello again everybody, welcome to Dadjitsu once again. It's Friday, and we are, what's next? Halloween's coming up. We've got a big one coming up.
Yeah.
Big episode. We're going to do a bit of dress up. Big ep.
Episode 44. This is.
Indeed. We're getting there. We're nearly at the old Hawaii 5-0 mark, aren't we?
Pretty good.
Yeah, so we were just saying, we could talk about training in general, like lifting out, for example, outside of actual jiu-jitsu training. Those of us want to sort of get strong and stay strong, especially as dads, busy dads.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I hear, or questions I get asked the most, is about how to manage your training load. Like how to manage your training load so you can still lift, you can, maybe you're doing cardio outside of the gym, you're doing your jiu-jitsu sessions.
Yeah.
And you're not like really fucked when you're doing your sessions, and just sort of, managing all of that. Even, to be honest, a lot of young people ask me that. Yeah. And when I say young people, I mean people under 30, under 35. Will ask me that. So it's a problem for everyone. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's like, it's mental, isn't it? Do you think? I guess this is probably more and more common amongst people's hobbies now. Like I'd say, is this a unique problem to jiu-jitsu? Like you're trying to fit it all in, you're trying to manage it, or like MMA, martial arts, whatever. But like, you probably get the same thing from CrossFitters and high roxers, and that sort of thing.
I guess. I mean, something like that probably in terms of, I don't know, modalities and fitness and cardio and lifting, aerobic, it's kind of all covered, right? Whereas I think
but just how to manage the amount of training that people are doing now.
Okay, try to keep up with the level of, makes sense.
Like, do you think, what are we in now, 2025? Do you think 25 years ago, turn of the century? Yeah, 2000.
2000, turn of the millennium.
Millennium.
Century and the millennium.
Nay, millennium. Do you think, across the board, on average, people were training as much as they are now?
No. I don't. I think it's got more and more fashionable. You could argue
fashionable.
Did I say that?
Have you made up a new word?
Maybe.
What does it mean?
I don't even know that.
I want to start.
I said that fastable. No, I don't think I said fastable. What did I say? Rewind
the tape.
Yeah.
Put in the comments what you heard Steve say.
Yeah, because I didn't even hear it myself. It just comes spewing out into the world. There's no thought involved. I'm just saying shit at this point.
Half of it isn't even a real word.
Oh God. I think so. I think people are training more because it's more fashionable. I guess that was what I was trying to say. Fashionable, not fastable, because that's not a real word, is it? I think like the 80s, 70s, and 80s, Arnie, pumping iron and all those kind of things made it really fashionable.
But back then, like in the 70s and 80s, like, again, if I'm showing my young age, please put it in the comments, but using the gym wasn't like something that just everyone did. It was like the sort of like the bodybuilders, the like yummy mummies who did their like keep fit classes.
Aerobics.
Aerobics. Like, it wasn't like a common, like, everyone's got a gym membership.
It wasn't.
Do you know what I mean? Not like it is now.
No, but I think if you were to take 1980 compared to 1989, 1990, there was a steady increase, I think.
It's been on the rise probably since the late 70s, early 80s.
And I think all those bodybuilders, because you go before that, bodybuilders were kind of a freak show.
That's what I mean. Yeah, but pre that, 60s, 50s, it was like...
just those dudes like doing those jumpy things with their
and like athletes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
But Arnie made going to the gym and, lifting weights very fashionable. And then, of course, he was like the biggest one of the biggest movie stars of the 80s and 90s. So you know, it brought it very much into the mainstream, didn't it? And it's just become this behemoth of an industry, and it continues to do so, doesn't it? And I think you have it. Obviously, you're a personal trainer. You know, for us it's jiu-jitsu along one line, then you've got your lifting side of your week or whatever to go along with it for most people. For a lot
Then
of
you
people.
might have a third stream of like cardio as well.
Yeah,
if you
for sure.
separate the lifting and the cardio, a lot
Absolutely.
of people would do like
Yeah.
probably 3 different sessions of exercise.
But how much, as a dad, again keeping on brand, as a busy dad, how do you fit those 3 modalities in?
Yeah.
How do you fit them in an effective volume of those 3 things in the course of a 7-day period? It's fucking hard.
It is.
It's fucking hard. And I think so. I was listening to the guys on the Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. Shout out to those guys. It's really interesting. They were talking about a 10-day system, 3 times a month. And so then your day that you do said thing, say it's lifting, that rotates. So you're on a different day. So like, Dusty from Forge Barbell. Shout out to Forge Barbell. I'm just giving all the shout outs today. Ripped me a very good program of a 2-day split because I'm just trying to fit it in. And I even struggle to fit those 2 days in. And then, the idea of like trying to fit it in on the weekend, for some people, it's like, I'll just fit it on a Sunday. Like, as a parent, it's like, it's just a fucking fantasy.
I get messages sometimes like, well, you have to do some training today. I'm just like, that message doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's not a message I respond to because I'm just like, that, what?
There's no chance.
Who?
Yeah.
You're messaging me on a day asking me if I want to come out to play.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
What world are you living in?
Yeah, exactly. Different one.
That's not my world. We were saying this yesterday, how like sometimes like people, once you become like a parent, you enter into a different world. Mm-hmm. And then the longer you're in that world, the exploits of the non-parents become so
alien,
odd. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, it's so like far removed from your life. You're just like, you're just going on holiday to Thailand.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't know what you're going to do.
You're just doing like a little day trip to like look at some caves. Like,
yeah. Your needs are primary. What?
It's so
Yeah.
It's so far removed from family life.
Totally. The quote from what's the film? Lost in Translation. Bill Murray says, talking to Scarlett Johansson, he says, when you have kids, your life as you know it is over. It's a new chapter, it's a new life, but it's a very, very different chapter.
Yeah.
In almost every way.
Yeah. 100%.
And the big thing is your needs are most of the time secondary. You've got to square the kids away before you can even think about your training, for example.
Yeah. It's very strange.
Yeah.
But it's sorry, to go back to what you were saying, it's very difficult to fit it all in.
Yeah.
The 10-day system, I've not heard of that, but I quite like it. I'd be interested to see what their workouts within that looked like and how they kind of periodize it. For me, I'm just like, if you only lift once this week, like, fine.
You're still doing something, aren't you? You're still, you're still moving those muscles and getting that resistance training in. And
you got to I guess it's a case of priorities, isn't it? Weighing up your priorities. What is the most important thing? So as a parent,
jiu-jitsu.
yeah, like you think like, okay, I've got all these like types of exercise that I need to do, that I want to do. But this week I've only got 3 hours, 3 times 1 hour slots to do that in. That's all I've managed to square away with the like family calendar.
Yeah.
How can I get the most out of that? What is the like?
Yeah.
How's that going to work?
That's it. You've nailed the head. The stage of life we're at, you have to drill down into quality over quantity, don't you? You can't just turn up at the gym and just fuck about and willy-nilly. It's like you're there, you've got an hour and a half, whatever. You've got to maximise that time because that's all you've got until the end, like next week or whatever. So you have to really focus on that, don't you? It's like, what is the most efficient use of this time I can get in the gym? Which is why, and I've started doing it. You see the dads running between machines, and do you know what I mean? Let's fucking get it in. As you know, there's no fat on this workout at all.
But I think that's the first thing to kind of to free yourself. It's like, yes, your program might say you've got to do 2 sessions a week, but you don't really, do you?
No,
you just do 1.
But that's the 10-day thing, I think. It's like it's kind of like, sorry.
Yeah, but even within that,
Yeah,
you might not get it all done, and that's all right.
yeah. It's working
Because
within.
what's the most? But if the most important thing is lifting, then you cut back on the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
Or the running.
yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
make that decision about what's the most important thing for you. And there are people that I know who are like, oh, I'll do jiu-jitsu once a week. And I'll lift 3 times a week. And like, that's what I want to do. And like, if that's what they want to do, that's fine. Like for them, that's fine. For me, that wouldn't be fine. But like, you know, so then they have to make that decision about what's right for them.
This is the thing, though, and I was chatting to a mate on a gig the other day about this. He does jiu-jitsu, and I'd only just met him, and we were just talking about, you know, jiu-jitsu being a good thing, and it's just that connection of like you suddenly meet someone at work, and it's like, oh my god, you too, and he was like, how'd you get into it? And I was like, no, it's just, you know, I started kickboxing and Muay Thai, and you know, really enjoyed that, and then that age-old story, I started jiu-jitsu, and he was like, nothing else matters, does it? I was like, no, nothing else fucking matters. It's so true, isn't it? You get so under your skin. I couldn't imagine having that kind of a format in a week where I do jiu-jitsu once, but I lift 3 times. I guess there's probably some, you know, there's a lot of people that probably do it, but I just personally couldn't. What's more important to me is the jiu-jitsu, and trying to seeing the lifting as I'm just maintaining, recalibrating my muscles and my body, and it's a means to an end rather than I'm going to the gym to get huge or whatever. You know, and I would probably argue there's a bigger proportion of jiu-jitsu people who have it that way around because of the nature of the sport and the fact it does get under your skin.
Yeah, I'm definitely that way inclined. Like for me, sometimes I won't lift for months because like the diary won't allow it. Business is doing whatever it's doing, and I need to like really focus on it. And I know you can always carve out the time, but I'm prioritizing. I'm making a conscious choice to prioritize the other things.
Yeah.
And I'm not like moaning like, oh, I've got no time to lift. I'm like, well, yeah, I could make time for it, but I'm not. I'm making time to work on my business. I'm making time to keep up with the house, to
spend some time with the kids,
to train more jiu-jitsu. Like I'm prioritizing those things over it, and that's okay at that time.
Yeah.
I know that I will feel better on the mats if I lift. I know I won't pick up as many injuries and things like that, but I'm still prioritizing the other things because life is long, and this is a period of time where I'm prioritizing those other things, and I'll come back to it. And
jiu-jitsu is always going to be there. That's the thing. That's the kind of mind, the space I've got into is the kids being little aren't always going to. That's not always going to be the situation. They're not always going to be there. So you allow that ebb and flow of things more, I think, as a parent, because you have to, and you're working with, for you, non-ideal situations, because you obviously you want to go and spend time with your kids and stuff, you know, but you want to go to jiu-jitsu. If it was like, if I had the opportunity, I'd be here all the time, you know, be on the mats all the time. It's just not the way of it, is it? You know, you're spinning so many more plates as a parent. That's the thing. I think as a non-parent, and I'm not saying that non-parent people aren't busy, but there's just levels. And I think once you are a parent, you are spinning so many more plates, emotionally and physically.
You don't understand.
No, you don't. And I thought it's an age-old joke, but you don't understand. And you don't understand what tiredness is until you've got some kids.
Yeah.
It's a different fucking game.
Because it never ends.
Yeah. It's like this last week, you know, we were going to talk about this, weren't we? But I caught what I think was probably COVID, and I had 2-3 days of feeling like shitty, where I had a cold and blocked up nose, coughing up stuff, etc., etc. Did a couple of gigs on that, so that was fun. And then I had like a week of, I've never had this before in my life, like a viral fatigue. And
long COVID.
Yeah, but I was just like, but I was like, this is awful. Like, because there's no days off with kids, so you're still dealing with behaviour and screens and sugar and arguments.
They're not like, oh, Dad's got viral fatigue. Let's give him a week.
You're still on duty. Yeah, exactly. And it was just,
let's just behave for a week.
Yeah, just doesn't.
He really needs it.
Yeah. Let's just. He's given a lot over the last sort of decade. Let's do him a solid.
Throw him a week.
Yeah. Nah, you don't even get an hour. And it, oh mate, and so when they were at school, I would lie in the bed just staring at the wall. I couldn't even, this is funny, I was so like fatigued mentally and physically from it that I couldn't even like watch something on Netflix that was like a program where I would follow the storyline. Because I can't even face that. So I found myself.
Also, you're feeling guilty the whole time as well.
Because I'm lying like a fucking loser. There's so much to do, and I've got no energy. Like even the program I found that the only thing I could find that I could watch was some boring documentary about buildings of London, because it was just something to just distract me. It was just like, what has happened to me? Yeah, really, really bad. But yeah, in the throes of that, shit still needs to get done. You know, you still got to, you know, tag in with parenting and deal with all the stuff you got to deal with. But it's just. Life doesn't stop, does it? Whereas I think when you don't have kids, you can have that moment. You're like, I'm hungover. I'm just going to spend all the day watching.
We used to do it all the time.
Same, yeah. We used to waste so much time.
Innit? Yeah. Right, going back to the lifting.
Yeah.
First thing is, you got to work out what your priorities are. Second, if lifting is a priority and you are like, I am getting 2 sessions a week and I've prioritized it, I've carved out the time in the week and I'm going to do it. Amazing. That's really good. You need to be doing the right thing in that session. Let's just focus on jiu-jitsu. Like people lifting for jiu-jitsu purposes. I think you can quite well run a system of like lifting, a weekly sort of 7-day system. Like you don't need a 10-day system, I don't think. Because I think it doesn't matter. No system is perfect.
No.
Every system has, and even if you do this 10-day system, you might not do it. So it's ultimately just down to like accepting the fact that no system is perfect and just trying your best. So every lifting, I would combine your lifting and your cardio. I've been back and forth on this, like, but if you're, you know, a masters athlete or, you know, just a hobbyist, but you're like 35 plus, just combine it. Just fucking combine it. Like, if you've got time to do 3 to 4 sessions and do 2 cardio sessions, maybe you like getting up early, Mrs. is sorting out the kids and she doesn't mind you going out for a hour run, like, well done. You've got a great missus.
Gonna come back and bite you on the arse at some point, though.
No. Yeah, if you can square away 2 hours for like a run or whatever, or to go to the gym and do some cardio, great. But like, again, like that's fine. But probably most parents are going to struggle to hit 4 gym sessions plus jiu-jitsu. That's unlikely unless you work in a gym, which is going to make that easier. But like, still, it's a challenge.
Of course, yeah.
So I would just combine it and accept that it's not the perfect system, but it's going to tick a couple of boxes, like well enough that you're going to see the benefit. And I would do your lifting and then do some intervals afterwards at differing intensities, and I would periodize that to some degree, sort of starting, you know, doing 4 to 6 weeks of lower intensity intervals, building up through medium into like 2 or 3 weeks of high intensity intervals, and sort of just keep circling through those. The lifting should always be full body, because that actually squares away the worry about missing a session. Yeah. Because you just need to make sure that every whatever period you're running your program through, week, 10 days, whatever, that you're hitting your full body. Yeah. If you're hitting your full body, if you miss a session, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, that's a really good bit of advice.
Because you're still getting, everything's getting the training that it needs, the stimulus it needs to keep it ticking over.
Yeah, that's really good.
And then I like to go beyond that and think, okay, can we tick a lot of different strength quality boxes? Can we do some maximal effort work? Can we do some power work? Can we do some assistance hypertrophy work? Can we improve your movement quality? If we can do that all in one session, that is ideal. You know, again, optimal for just a human is not the same as optimal for a specific person. Optimal for a human that doesn't have a face is it's just like, okay, right, we're going to split everything down. We're going to train our body parts. We're going to do power on, separate session for strength maybe. And, you wouldn't do that. But like, you have mobility sessions throughout the week. You'd have like your lifting and like resistance training and strength session, which would include some power. You'd have your cardio session. They'd all be broken down and it would be like, but no one's life actually is like that. So optimal has to reflect what you can continually do for enough time to actually gain the adaptations that you're trying to gain. Yeah, that's what optimal is. Yeah,
because the way what you just described is like, if you're a pro athlete, you can dedicate enough time to all of those things.
Maybe.
Right? But if you're a normal person with a job, or you're a parent, say, you've got duties, throughout the week, it's just, you're not going to be able to fit all that in.
Even a pro athlete may well have a wife who then has expectations, or they might have a husband who has expectations that they want to see you.
Yeah.
And they may well have kids. They've got friends, they've got family. Even someone who's, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there are very few people who don't have any distractions.
Yeah, you're talking like single 20-year-old wants to be a world champion.
They might have a partner.
Yeah.
They've got a home that they own, and the toilet's broken.
Yeah.
They've got
Life
a landlord that's like, you've got to move out. Like, life is happening. They don't just live in a lab.
Yeah.
So there's no optimal training regime that can be devised. The optimal training regime is like, what can you fit into your life and continually do till you make the adaptations that you make. So for a working parent, I'd say, if that's one session a week, that's optimal.
Yeah.
And just try and tick as many boxes in that session as you can.
It's relative.
Like, you're not going to get as good a gains as if you trained every day and split it all up. Like, yeah, but like, that's not realistic either.
Yeah.
So you either don't do anything, or you do this one session a week.
Yeah.
That is optimal for you, and you're going to get gains from it.
And there's a freedom in that, isn't there? There's a freedom in managing your expectations, of thinking, that's cool. I got one lifting in this week, great. That's good. Rather than that kind of like negative vibe. Oh, I'm constantly missing that session. I'm just not going to. I'm missing it. I'm not doing enough, sort of thing. Because that does breed a lot of negativity. Whereas I think if you can, as you just said, you can manage your expectations in the current state of life that you're in, you're going to probably you're certainly going to feel better about your training and where you are, and probably get more out of it.
If you've got one kettlebell and you can't get to a gym, and you have to, the only time you can lift is like, for half an hour a week, do a fucking kettlebell complex. Do that session with that kettlebell, but repeatedly do that over time.
Yeah.
And like increase the reps, like decrease the rest time.
Yeah.
There's loads of ways you can scale it to like get progressive overload.
Yeah.
That's better than nothing.
It is. You're likely to get more consistency if you do manage your expectations, aren't you? Because if you're in this positive mindset, you're going to be going into it thinking, it's cool, I'm doing what I can, and this is, as you say, optimal for me. You're going to get probably more consistency from that, rather than constantly thinking, I'm not doing
constantly
enough.
Failing.
And then you get
no one wants to fail all the time, so they're just going to stop.
But then your motivation goes when you feel like you're failing. So I think that's kind of what they were saying on the Bulletproof podcast. It's just that in order to, you might lose 25% of your volume, but you're consistent throughout the year. You put that over 12 months.
My only thing with that would be, like, I don't think you need to change it from a 7 to a 10 day.
Yeah.
I think you just need a coach or a friend to be like, don't worry about it, mate.
That's what I mean.
It's more about the mindset going into the program.
Yeah.
Like, and understanding that, like, just find what you can do, repeat it, and that might change. Do you know what I mean?
It certainly will, right?
It will. Like for 6 months, you can only do one session a week, and then suddenly you're like, oh, things have got a little bit easier. Actually, I've got another day I can fit in that second day. Great. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, things are going to change. Like, life's a long time, hopefully. But I think if any program, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, if you just as long as it's set up so that you could scale it up and down between 1, 2, 3 sessions a week, and it's not going to massively affect. Because if you've got like a push-pull legs, so one day you're pushing, all your pushing exercises, the front of your body's being trained, the next day the back of your body, the next day legs, that isn't really a scalable routine. You can't take that down to one day.
Yeah.
Because you're just missing 2/3 of your body.
I used the bro split for many years and had that exact experience. I'm just like, fuck, I'm missing legs every week. Missing legs.
It's always legs.
It's always legs, man. It's always legs.
So it's kind of like, that's not a good routine for like someone who's busy.
No, and you can apply that to jiu-jitsu also. of just the management of the expectations. But yeah, the whole body thing, going back to what you're saying about that, it makes complete sense. Because again, you're optimizing your minimized time that you know. I'm a big fan of just deadlifts, heavy deads. I mean, you know, even at home, like I try and dial in a bit at home. Like I chop a lot of wood. You know, there's a lot of whole body stuff, and whenever I'm there, I'm trying to do all that compound stuff because it's, you know, we're just not. We don't have the luxury of the amount of time where you can just split it up and be like, I'm just going to focus on back and biceps today.
It's bullshit. You know, it's like, but even like, so for jiu-jitsu, people, if you're like, so this is where I sort of speak to a lot of young people and they're like, oh, I'm struggling to fill it in, or I'm really tired or whatever. And I'm like, well, okay, how many jiu-jitsu sessions are you doing a week? Oh, like 5 a week. Okay, fine. How many gym sessions are you trying to hit? Oh, like 4, like upper body, lower split. I'm like, no, you can't do that, man. Like, that's not going to work. Like, maybe that's going to work, but it's obviously not because you're here talking to me.
Yeah.
So let's try and just do 2 full body sessions, stick with your 5 jiu-jitsu and see how you feel off the back of that. Like, you'll get as much volume, but you're going to be able to manage it better. Like, and you're going to be able to tick those boxes every week. You're not going to come onto the mat. So another reason I like to do full body over body part splits is I spoke to someone the other day and they were doing push-pull legs, and they said that on average, each push or pull or legs would get about 15 sets on average a week. So we used his leg session. And he said he did like 5 exercises, 3 sets of each exercise. So that was about 15 sets, total volume per week for legs. So I said, okay, if you did 2 full body days, so you freed up a day to do more jiu-jitsu, you'd do 2 leg exercises per session.
Yeah.
And if you did 3 or 4 sets, you've now increased your total volume.
Yeah.
So if you did 3 sets, it'd be 3, it'd be 6, 9, 12, so slightly less. Or if you did 4 sets, or if you did like a 3 and a 4, so that would be 7. Yeah, so that'd be 14 sets. So it'd be the same amount. But and I said, when you do your lower body set, like you do 15 sets, like how long does it take your legs to recover? He was like, about 3 days. So, and he was like, any exercise I do after that is like a write-off. Like I can't give it my all.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, you're going to do 7 sets. So it's like you're halving the volume each time, but you're spreading it throughout the week. So you're not coming out of that session the next day and the next day after that. You're not like fucked. You're not sore as fuck. And so then you're going into jiu-jitsu actually much fresher.
Yeah.
And also, rather than doing just legs once a week, you're doing it twice a week. So you're getting more chance for hypertrophic stimulus.
Yeah.
By the time you're recovered, you're actually then back to training it rather than being like recovered and then 3-4 days, you're just not doing anything with your legs, and then you're training again. So I think there's a lot of reasons for doing like lower volume, like per body part in the session, because you have to train more body parts. But it's a better approach for people who are active with sports.
Is it similar to Farah Sahabi when he talks about? It's different in a way, but similar in a way.
It's a similar idea.
Do you know what he talks about?
His thing
not
was
going
like
to failure.
His thing was actually a bit more extreme than that, and it was doing really short, like 20-minute, half an hour sessions, like every day.
Yeah, like a farm strength kind of
sort of thing, like that sort of thing. I think again, so another factor that has to come into it is your like training age and how accustomed you are to physical activity. So I've worked with like tradies who can actually train like a lot. Like a few of them I've worked with who do physically demanding jobs and they train a lot, but they can just keep it going. And they probably pick up the same amount of niggles as people who train half as much, 3/4 as much. But they seem to be picking up the same sort of like. Then it's not like he's always chronically injured. It's like but he's got a little niggle, but like that guy who trains 3 times a week total out of all his modalities has got the same niggles as you, who's doing a physically demanding job and then training twice a day, 6 days a week on top of that.
Yeah, like, is that not?
So I think every person's a bit different in terms of how much physical activity they can tolerate. And you can't just use like a sort of set thing. Like I would suggest if you're training over 3 to 4 days a week and you're a masters person and you're trying to add lifting on top of that, probably 2 days is right. But for some people, if they can free up the time in their schedule, they might be able to tolerate 3 days a week of like full body training with cardio at the end on top of their jiu-jitsu, because they've just been a really physical person their whole life since they were like this high. And so they've just built up a good physical tolerance. They've got a good pain tolerance threshold. That's really important.
Yeah, for sure.
Super important. That's something that never gets spoken about, really.
Yeah, man, the burn of the muscles when you're lifting and that sort of thing.
It's not even that. Like, this is something that I was talking to a client about. I think the difference between the high performers, like the highest level performers in any sport, you could argue in any level of anything in life, is your ability to tolerate discomfort. You could have all the genetic shit in place to be excellent at whatever it is. Let's say basketball.
Yeah.
You're the bounciest motherfucker going. You've got great sprint ability. Like, do you know what I mean? All the physical
Attributes.
qualities.
Yeah.
This guy's going to be it. Like the graders are like, this guy's got it.
Yeah.
He's going to be amazing. But your tolerance to physical discomfort is so low that yes, so firstly, you can't push that hard in the session. So you sort of coast because you're like, as soon as it starts getting hard, you're like, oh no, this is too hard.
Yeah.
And secondly, you can't train at the right frequency because the next day you're like, oh my God, I'm so sore.
Yeah.
Or like my wrist hurts or like, and so I need to take a few days off. And that is ultimately like, we're all different in that respect.
Yeah.
Like you can train it to a certain degree, but I think everyone's coming in with like, and it's going to be based on your like mindset, your psychology, everything in your life that's led up to today is a very complex picture. But your ability to tolerate like that discomfort is key because you have to train a lot to be elite at something. You have to.
You do. Do you think you can, as an individual, you can change that? You can.
A small amount.
Yeah, so it's a
I
result
think it's
of
built in you.
Yeah, it's a result of your life experiences.
Some people are going to be really good at it.
Yeah, but
And
naturally, or you
naturally,
nature. Is it like a nature nurture thing?
Maybe a bit of both. I think it's probably a bit of both.
Yeah, because it feels like what you're describing is it's a mental thing, right? It's your ability to cope with mentally, and push through and dig deep and find those depths that other people can't.
I've got clients, just normal people who just train for health and well-being, who like they have to be on death's door to not come and exercise.
Yeah.
Where I've got other people who, any excuse to skip a session.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I've met people like that. We all know people like that. Like who you look at them and you think, wow, like they're so like they could be so good at jiu-jitsu, but they like train once a week. And then when you sort of talk to them, you think they must be really busy. And then you talk to them, and you're like, oh, it's just that they're like not that mentally strong, so they can't like get the gusto to get to the session. But there's no reason they couldn't come.
No, and I guess like you say, it's
maybe they just don't enjoy it. But like I think it is a bit about like
it's an associative thing, isn't it? So, because it's
it
a
must
mental
serve you in some way.
Yeah, but what I mean by it being an associative thing is you're associating soreness the next day with it being a problem.
Yeah. So that's a part of it. That's a part of it. Some people love it.
That feeling
this is the adaptation. I'm growing. I'm getting stronger.
Those feelings of DOMs, or when you wake up the next day after a session, you're like, I fucking love it. I've worked my body.
Like, or in the session, like something I've been trying to like. So I do think you can improve this. So I'm seeing improvements in my own ability to withstand suffering. But I think something I'm trying to reframe is like when you get out of breath, what that means. And so for a long time, I'd get out of breath and I'd be like, fuck, I'm gassed. I'm gassing. This is bad.
Yeah.
Whereas I might have spoken about this on the podcast before. I saw this clip of Nicky Rod and I can't remember his name, the giraffe guy.
Giraffe guy?
Yeah, really tall, black guy, wears the giraffe print like. They refer to him as the giraffe. He's from, I think he might be like French. Anyway, the name will come to me. They were having a scrap at B Team. And they were both puffed, like breathing so heavy. But it was almost like, I mean, it must have been like a few rounds in because they were like super sweaty. And from the start of the 10-minute round, it's on YouTube, they would just puff the whole time. But they just pushed so hard to the end. And I was like, man, that's so interesting because, like, you know, you think a high performer would be like controlling their breathing, like we were speaking about earlier, like, you know, that you said about like you've started breathing through your nose and that like really helps you to sort of manage your fatigue and like keep you focused. But they weren't like that.
No.
They were breathing heavy the whole round. And I was like, that is so interesting. You know, obviously I haven't spoken to him about that, but I sort of like, the way I like interpreted that is like, when you understand about breathing, if you're working at a maximal intensity, you're going to breathe in and out through your mouth. You have to do it to offload the carbon dioxide.
Yep.
That is just the breathing strategy that happens at 85% plus of max heart rate. So you can train your ability to be able to withstand those heart rates and keep going. Like some people will be genetically very good at it. Some people genetically will be very bad at it. But that you can train to some degree the ability to keep doing that. So for me, I've kind of like tried to change my thought process of like, I'm like breathing and I'm gasping. I'm like really puffing and I'm like, good.
Yeah.
I'm working hard.
And also
this is good. I'm pushing and I'm pushing them really hard.
Yeah.
Like, and let's see who can keep going because one of us is going to break.
Yeah.
But if I just frame this in a positive light, I'm going to keep going and you're going to break.
It's the association. I think you can train that association to, we said, you know, the mind controls the body. You can train that association to, like you say, spin it on its head and be like, you know, and train being in that really uncomfortable spot and almost adapting to it.
Yeah.
In its own right.
Being like, this is good.
Yeah, this is what I've been working towards.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh my God, I'm failing. Going back to that same thing. Putting positivity into it. It's energizing, isn't it? I was definitely using that today when I was breathing. Like, you know what it's like when you start trying to breathe through your nose. To start with, you feel like you're fucking drowning. But then it just hits a certain point where you just level out. It's like you can see things more clearly. You can think things through in the middle of a melee, of a scramble or whatever, so much more easily. You can almost, certainly in the initial stages, gas yourself out by breathing through your mouth. But then as you hit that point, you just don't have a choice.
Yeah, you want to breathe appropriately for how hard you're working.
Yeah.
So at first, in and out through the nose, in and out through the mouth, like hard in and out. No, sorry, in and out through the nose, like you're not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Then it's like in and out through the nose, but it's a bit more strained. Then it's in through the nose, out through the mouth.
Yeah.
And then it's that becoming more strained, and then you're just forced into breathing in and out through the mouth.
Yeah.
Like, and it's kind of just allowing that to happen kind of naturally.
Talking like 160 heart rate plus sort of thing.
That's going to vary because everyone's heart rate is genetically determined.
Yeah, okay.
But I could feel in our rounds towards the end, you were starting to fade a little bit. And I was like, I'm going to start pushing forward more and try and like just wear you down more.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk towards you more, basically, and just press you. Like, I'm not really doing anything different, but I'm not giving you a chance to like
reset.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep pressing into you, and just try and like wear you down a bit more.
Yeah. I was trying at that point. I was trying because I felt that happening. I was trying to go for more just collar tie, and try and even the score a little bit to try and wear you out, but it wasn't working.
It's hard. I remember rolling with Phil once, and like I was really gassed, and he was really gassed. Yeah, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But he said at the end, he was like, I could. You got to a point where you were really gasping, and I was like, he's fucked, but I was also fucked. But he was like, I'm just going to put it on you and I'm going to try and I think I can break you just before I break.
Grit through it, sort of.
But he was like, and you broke. But he was like, I was on the verge of breaking as well. Like, but
Did
you didn't know that? No, I didn't know that. I was just like, fuck.
It's like a poker face.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he just like broke me sort of thing. And that always stuck with me. Just like, if you're puffed and the other person is seeming similar to you, don't focus on the fact that you're puffed. Focus on the fact that they are. Push forward.
That's a great mindset.
Break them.
Yeah, because then you almost...
Because then they're like, fuck, they're not even tired.
Yeah.
They're pushing harder. Yeah. And I'm like, hanging on.
That's another way of thinking about it as well. You're not even focusing on you. So because you're focusing on them, you're almost forgetting about how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's a weird analogy, but when I was working on the wards, the amount of times you must have had this too, flying up and down, you know, when you're busy, you don't have a piss all day. You don't use it. And then so I remember like the one day in particular, we were doing like, I don't know, I've been on shift about 10 hours or something, and I hadn't had a wee the whole shift, and I was just flying about, and there was a crash gone off, and all sorts of craziness. And I remember earlier in the day, I was like, oh, I might go for a piss, and then something kicked off. It just carried on and on and on and on. And then eventually there was a lull, and I was like, oh yeah. Like, and it just because that part of my body had just shut down, because I was focusing on something else. And you can apply that, can't you?
Yeah.
If you just try and shift the association, shift the focus to them, then you kind of almost forget how tired you are, and you just push on.
Definitely.
Mind games.
Yeah, I don't know how we got onto that, but I think going back to the lifting,
Yeah.
another thing that people would do well to get their head around, 2 points, is trying to do the least amount of work possible to get good results. The minimum effective dose
Yeah.
is a really good thing to like try and focus on.
Yeah.
Like, and that's hard to sort of get a handle on. But you probably need to do much less work than you think to get to make progress, to see your lifts going up.
Yeah.
And I think people get drawn in, especially people who enjoy exercise, they get drawn into this sort of like, if it doesn't hurt, like it's not doing anything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, well, it's not strictly true. Like there is some, you could probably say there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
Like in certain situations, but like it depends how extreme you're going to take that. Like, so working that out, like thinking like, are my lifts going up? Like with the amount of volume that I'm doing, like this is a bit of like an experiment you maybe had to do over like 6 months. And again, it's really hard to run that experiment because there's so many other factors that are going to go in to whether you're going to make progress with your lifts. But sort of trying to work out for you what's the right amount of volume to still see progress and to still sort of keep ticking those boxes. I don't really have a way that you could effectively do that for everyone. It's going to become a bit about feel.
Yeah.
And if you're working with a coach, them like looking at the numbers and taking into account like whether you're sleeping well, how much stress you've got in their life, what you're doing outside of the gym, and all these kind of factors, like as to like, it's a bit of an art at that point. It's a bit of a kind of juggling act. Like for me, like a lot of people who come in and train with me, I'll sort of choose their weights on certain lifts. And I'm sort of thinking about the conversations we've had during the warm-up, how they seem, how they're moving, what I know is going on in their life. And then I'll think, okay, we'll start here and we'll sort of move beyond that. And then, you know, and sometimes it might be that they're making no progress on that bench press for months on end. We're just doing the same weights over and over again. But I know that they're like dealing with a lot of shit outside of what's happening. Yeah. And when I'm watching them move, I can see that coming out in their movement. So I'm like, we're not going to push for a PB on bench because like, no, this is going to break you. And like, there's no point.
Totally. And there's a maintenance there, isn't there?
Exactly. They're maintaining. Yeah. And they are getting stronger, but we need all the other stuff to come down. Yeah. And then you'll see that, oh shit, I am actually getting stronger. It's just that I've been so weighed down by like all these other things that have been going on in my life. Like the strength hasn't had a chance to be demonstrated. Yeah. But then like all that other noise like comes away, and I think like this is going to be the week. And then
this is the moment.
Suddenly like they'll be like they'll do like a PB, and they're like, fuck, like, where did that come from? And it's like this was, you know,
you got space in your life right now.
Yeah, but that takes like looking at it and like an objective eye to sort of be like, right, let's do it this time. It can be difficult to do that to yourself, but I think that just takes time over years of lifting to kind of be able to analyze yourself like that. Because sometimes we come in with our own like, oh, I should do this, I should be doing that person, you know, all those comparisons, and that just ruins everything. I think the other thing is that I would say that's really important for a masters lifter is to not try and chase down PBs. Like everyone wants to come in and do a 1 rep max, like it's fun. So occasionally, fine, whatever. But a nice system, I think the first time I sort of like really understood it when I was running Wendler 531, I want to call it. A guy called Jim Wendler, I think his name was. And he's got an infamous sort of powerlifting program, really it was, of where you do like a set of 5, set of 3, set of 1. I think that was what it was.
What, and progressively increase the weight?
Yeah, so basically like it's a percentage-based system, which we'll talk about in a minute, which I don't think is good for jiu-jitsu people. But anyway, he had a really nice app that went along with it. And what I noticed when I was looking through like the progressions of what it was going to sort of have me lifting for like the next 6 months is that like we were never like going anywhere near maxing out.
Right.
Like we never went anywhere near maxing out. But it was like your current max, let's say, is like, I don't know, 160 deadlift. But we would never go near that at all. But in 6 months, my max is going to be 180 on deadlift, let's say. And my working sets are at, let's say, 160. But so I'm never actually achieving my max, but I've actually, like in a year's time, let's say, my working sets are 170. So now I'm actually working at heavier weight than I used to be able to lift for 1 rep max. So technically I've set a new 1 rep max. Yeah. But it doesn't feel like it.
You've never done
it's actually sub-maximal still.
Yeah.
Because my 1 rep max at that point would be, if I tested it, 200.
Yeah.
So you're just you're ticking up. And it's that idea, something to get your head around is like, you can get stronger lifting sub-maximal weights. People do it all the time. Pretty much every program is based around lifting sub-maximal weights. You don't lift, you know, and you might say, yeah, but I always lift 5x5. Yeah, but is that final set of 5 an RPE 10 because you couldn't have done 6?
Yeah.
You're lifting maximal weights.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You need to just sit sort of at about 80%ish. You could lift at about 80% all the time, and slowly your 80% will be the same as what your 1 rep max, your 100% was back then.
And that 20% buffer, surely that's going to prevent like injury and overwork, you know, all those things.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never really personally been into. I don't think I've ever done a 1 rep max.
I love it.
I've never tried it, to be honest.
That being said, sometimes I'll come in and be like, "Fuck it, I'm ripping a 1 rep max."
Right,
Let's just do it.
I've never.
I think if your form's good and you understand what everything should feel like, and you've got good experience, like do it occasionally because it's fine. Get all your mates in, just be like, "Fucking, let's go." Like send it. But
it's very bro, isn't it?
It's just understand it. Like,
I mean,
it's not necessarily going to be a good thing to do.
Yeah,
but like you got to have fun as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. I've always just done sets. But there's another thing. I kind of at the point where I was probably lifting the most last year, I think it was, and I was just doing heavy deads. And I got to that kind of point where I was double body weight heavy deads, and I was doing, I think, 3 sets of 5 with it. But I think at the time Dusty was like, you know, you'd probably be able to lift 200 with a 1 rep max. But I was never like, like I said, I'm not against it, but I had this point. It was the time where I kind of fell off a little bit. There was that moment. I'd done a session on the Friday, and I was like a bit tired, probably not as hydrated as I could be. Just finished a JIT session, some heavy range, and I had that fork in the road that we get where it's like, I was a bit tired. I was like, I'm here. This is my opportunity to do the heavy lifting because I haven't got the plates at home. I need to try and get this in this week, but I feel tired and I've got a bit of a headache. Do I A, listen to my body, or B, just push through? Which I don't know how you feel, but I always feel like that. Sometimes you can make the wrong decision on both sides of that fork, and I chose to push through, and I tweaked my back. In set 2, and that was it. And I kind of fell off from the lifting a little bit, doing that sort of thing. I got to the point I was happy with, but I just I fell out of the habit of doing it from that point because it did me in for a couple of weeks. Whatever it was, I pulled me back. That day I should have listened to my body, but I'm always trying to be mindful of the fact that if you give yourself that excuse, if you like, or that reason, in the back of your mind, that excuse is always going to be there if you just can't be bothered. If you just, do you know what I mean? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it? I think you've got to know yourself. You've got to know, am I the sort of person has a propensity to skip workouts because I'm a bit lazy or whatever?
Yeah.
Or am I the sort of person who will never skip a workout? So, and everyone's going to sit a little bit in between that, but like everyone probably leans towards one or the other. In your example, if I'm the sort of person who never skips a workout because I fucking love it, I'm skipping that workout because I know that's not a problem. I don't need to worry about like whether I'm going to skip workouts or not. Like I never do. But I'm feeling a bit tired and I'm like, oh, should I do that one? Go fucking home. Do it tomorrow.
Yeah, but don't you worry in that mindset that you're like, well, I'm going to become the other one.
I don't think you will because I think you're either one or the other.
Okay.
I think you can kind of like work hard to like not be whatever it is and you can get better, but you're always going to have that leaning.
You're going to snap back to what your natural thing is.
Yeah, like if you just like let go, like you're going to go back to that thing.
Yeah.
Whereas you're working hard to not be like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Whereas, if I was the sort of person who was like, oh, I always like to get workouts, like, fuck, I really need to keep this. I'd be like, okay, I need to go and do that workout, but I need to heavily adapt it. Because I'm just trying to keep the habit of not being a fucking lightweight pussy.
Like deload it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just completely change the workout, do something completely different.
Yeah.
But like, or if you're like, oh, it's really important for me to like follow the program, like I'm just going to take the percentages way down.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm fucked, I'm knackered, I've got a headache.
Just work on form.
I'm not doing 150, I'm doing 100.
Yeah.
Which will be really easy, like relatively easy. But I'm just doing it, not necessarily even to get the gains from that workout, but just to keep the habit going so that I'm not a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. That's definitely what appears in your head, isn't it? Like, don't be a bitch. Come on.
Yeah. So you have to like know yourself and be like, do I have the leaning of being like, oh, I just fuck it off? Or am I the sort of person who like never fucks it off, but like has, and so their problem is probably they train too much. And they're going to come in, and they want to come in and be like, yeah, I'm tired, fuck that, I'm going to come in, I'm sticking to the program. I'm going to fucking do it. Because, like, what are you talking about? Of course I'm sticking to the program. It's like, whoa, buddy, let's just pull things down a little bit. Like, it's really good you're here, but, like, come on. Like, you know, so everyone's a bit different. I think you've got to kind of recognize who you are and then make that decision.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, makes sense. It's like a sensitivity to yourself, isn't it? Almost.
Yeah, like with me, like, when's this going to go out? I don't know if this will go out before Polaris or...
It's probably going to be after it, realistically.
Probably be after. So this, I'll do that one, and that one will be next week. This will go out after. Yeah, so for me, like, I know, like, when I've been doing my conditioning work for this Polaris, like, a big part of it is just not being a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
And not like cutting corners and not being like, oh, just. So when I do the interval, I have to work to the buzzer. Like there's no like, it's a 30-second interval. Like I've like pushed it really hard, and at 28 seconds, I like take the gas off and cruise through the finish line.
Yeah.
You have to work to the buzzer.
Yeah.
Like, and if I don't, then I'll put more work on at the end.
Yeah.
Like, and in that last round, like if I'm like, oh, like. You know, I'll just do like, the last round will be like 30 seconds. Like, they've all been 30 seconds. I'm like, no, the last round's a minute.
Yeah.
Like, I have to push through. And then if I'm like, but like, we're finishing on like 14 minutes. Like, no. Okay, I had to add another minute of like the hardest work I can do to take it through to 15 because that's a nice round number.
Yeah.
And then when I finish, I'm not allowed to lie on the floor. I have to walk up and down the track.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes with my arms up, like I'm like getting my hand raised. Like, until I'm recovered.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not allowed to be a pussy.
Yeah. Because there's adaptation in that, isn't there?
It's a mental adaptation. Like I used to have this with the MMA guys when I trained more of the MMA guys, is we'd have this argument of in between each round, should they sit on the stool and recover or should they stand with their arms up, like standing up? And I'd always be like, fucking sit down on the stool. Like, you're going to get way better recovery sat on the stool. And I still stand by that. Sit by that. But I get why they do it because it's about a mental thing. It's about like, no, you're not tired. You're fine. Stay stood up. You're not tired. You don't need to sit down.
And it probably comes from then train hard, fight easy, right? You know, if you're doing that and you get used to that, then when you do get to sit there between the rounds, you're like, it's fucking easy.
Yeah.
I'm getting a break I don't normally get.
I just think you should sit down. Like, let's say, like at Polaris, I will sit down. Probably for like 45 seconds, and that last 15 seconds, I'm going to be up pacing around, just looking at him, pacing.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you think about Nicky Rod meditating between?
Like that's great. Yeah, so they've got into like the metrics. They're all wearing whoops and things like that, and they've got quite into the data and stuff like that.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's better. Like you do that minute is to physically recover.
I was literally doing that today.
You need to physically recover.
Yeah, you do. I wasn't like literally meditating, but between our rounds today, it was just you can feel your heart pounding, can't you? Just slow everything down. Yeah. You've only got a minute, so just slow it down as much as you can. And you're not going to get back down to, you know, just ticking away heart rate, whatever that might be. But you are going to get some. You are going to slow it to a degree if you just consciously.
He said he was getting his heart rate down. I think he said in a minute he was getting his heart rate down from like 180 to like 80, which is mental.
So that's the measure of a good VO2 max, right? Is that right? in terms of your
Your
ability
VO2
to be
max
able to...
would be good, but like, so your aerobic system is there when you're working at high intensities to clear away waste products from high intensity work. So it's there essentially to help you recover.
Yeah.
So it will be working in the background, helping you recover, even while you're doing the work. Like, and then when you stop doing the work, it kicks in to like get your heart rate down and help you recover. So using heart rate recovery, like once you finish exercise, you stop moving, ideally sit down. How many beats does your heart rate come down in that minute? That's a really good marker of how fit you are.
Yeah.
If you can get it to 40 or over, you're doing really well. Like that's amazing. Like if you can like do a hard jiu-jitsu round, then sit down and get it to come down 40 plus, like you're smashing it.
Trying that, checking it out, gathering some
You
data.
need a heart rate, heart rate.
Like a whoop strap or something.
Yeah, something like that. That whoop strap won't even be that good. You need the chest strap.
Okay.
The whoops for heart rate are like not the best.
What? Because you got it on your...
Because it's on your arm.
Oh, it's on the
right?
extremity.
It's not as good. You need like a polar heart rate monitor or a garment on your chest. They're going to give you the best numbers.
Do they not get in the fucking way when you do?
Yeah,
Like
shit.
if someone's in mount and you've got like this little
They just
hard
pop
thing.
off and it's like so annoying. But like they are the whoops are much more convenient and like wearable and they don't get in the way as much. That's fine, but they just don't give you as good a data for like in the moment feedback on your heart rate.
Okay.
It's not as accurate as wearing a chest strap.
Yeah. So
But I think overall, like their data that they give you is amazing. Like and like for recovery and like all the metrics they spit out are like really good. Like I think they're the best sort of wearable on the market for that stuff. But if you're just looking at monitoring heart rate, like and getting that immediate feedback of what's my heart rate right now, and then what is it right now, and what is it right now, like the chest straps, the Polar chest strap H10 is the best on the market.
Well, it's only going to be a matter of time until we've got little nano bots inside
Just
us.
sits in your arsehole.
Just please. Yeah. And
There's probably already an insert in, what would it be called?
Not wearable, insertable technology. Insertable technology arguably already exists and has them for a long time, but for different reasons. Completely different industry.
Yeah, what's it? A suppository.
Suppository. Oh, I see. Yeah. Intra-anal.
Yeah, I'm sure it exists already because I'm sure they use it in like spies and things like that. Probably use it, don't they?
Yeah.
To like track someone.
I guess so. Yeah.
Or like in like
track someone.
They'll like put it in their food, but like or like cancer, like so like eat things and then it'll give them like kickback data and things
that does
like
exist now, I believe. Yeah. Oh, I've read it on the internet, so it's definitely true.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, it's it'd be interesting to sort of get a way of gathering that data and just see, because I don't know, I've never measured that kind of thing. I've got no idea. I feel like I recover fairly quickly for my age, but I've got no idea of the actual numbers.
No, I've done a lot of it, and my recovery's fair. It depends how much work I'm putting into it, essentially.
Again, as a parent, as a dad, it's you're even for our age, you're going to be impaired compared to for someone our age that doesn't have kids, because your week is just so strung out sometimes.
Yeah, your stress levels are higher. But
it's
can't remember what I was going to say now, but
it was about measuring heart data and your numbers, how good you are.
But for me, so for me, like it's been less about like becoming physically like really, really fit, and it's been about just skill acquisition.
Okay.
The last like 5 years for me have been about like getting better at jiu-jitsu, and then I've been probably maintaining my physical abilities. Although I did set a lifetime PB on the deadlift like last year, so But that being said, like I feel like if I'd really focused on like getting physically as fit and strong as I can, like I would be way past that. Like, but I just haven't been focusing on it because I've only got so much capacity. Like we spoke about being parent, business owner, all those things. I've only got so much capacity, and I've chosen getting better at jiu-jitsu to be the main thing that I'm like worried about. And
it's
everything
fucking
else
showed
just
as well.
sort of, like goes around in the background.
I said this before. The speed of your decision making now is ridiculous.
Yeah, but like, it's all relative, isn't it?
It is relative, but I feel like
if I go against someone really good,
but I feel like compared to me, for example, definitely. But I feel like you've always been a lot better than me, but just it feels like you've kind of that distance has grown because of your. I guess you're training more than me because you're at the gym a lot more, but you've just doubled down on trying to just focus on jiu-jitsu and just
But I would say, you know what? Like, I think the main takeaway of this whole message is like, understand yourself. Like that's the key to like managing everything.
Yeah.
And be like compassionate to yourself, but also challenge the areas where you know they need work.
Yeah, work outside of the comfort zone. So even in like with lifting, but also jiu-jitsu, it's so easy to just snap into the things you're already good at. Which there's a lot of that's a very good thing to do. Is to get better at the things you're good at, but it's also just as important to focus on the areas where you're a bit weaker and try and bring them up to a better level.
Definitely.
You know. Should we call it there?
Let's do it.
All right. Hopefully you got something from that, people. And is it the so the Halloween one is going to be the next one, I think.
Hope so. Yeah, maybe, or the one after that. I'm not sure. We could do the Halloween one next one.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. See you next time.
See ya.
Boom.
All right, guys, let's bow there and then we'll call it a day.